I found a new book to read to you all. This book is one of the books that I listened to or was read as a child so many times. This book, it's really small, it's really little, and I think it's incredible. And it's definitely been a big inspiration for me in my book story writing, poetry writing, and book illustration. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. Um, yeah, I'll try and show you the pictures because they're really beautiful as well. So, are you sitting comfortably?
Yes. Yep. Very, thank you.
Make sure you get everyone you can to come and snuggle up and listen to the story. This is going to be a good one.
Who's it by?
Oh, it's called The Little Moon Theatre and it's by Irene Haas. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Is the illustration. Jojo, Jip and Nicolette were a troupe of travelling players. They rode through the countryside giving performances every night in a different place. Whenever they came into a new village, Jip would bang the drum and blow the horn. Nicolette danced to the beat of her tambourine and Jojo would sing this song. When supper is over tonight, walk out in the evening light. Come to the theatre, the Little Moon Theatre. Come to the theatre tonight. Don't put your baby to bed. Put a cap on its fuzzy round head. And come to the theatre, the Little Moon Theatre. Come to the theatre instead. The Travelling Little Moon Theatre. Day is done, nothing to do, so baby and mama and you all come to the theatre, the Little Moon Theatre, and bring a penny or two. One fine spring afternoon, Jojo drove the caravan into the middle of a sleepy little village. People on their way home to supper stopped to listen to her song, and suddenly the village was wide awake. With excitement, the villagers hurried to eat supper and dress in their best so they could walk out in the evening light to the theatre. Jojo, Jip and Nicolette rode through the now empty streets looking for a good place to give the show. They were close to the edge of town when they turned a corner and found a little girl sitting on the curb crying. They stopped. My name is Rose, and I love to wear a red sock on this foot, the little girl explained, and a yellow sock on this foot. But my mother says that's contrary, and that I can't come to the show tonight. Ah, said Jojo, but did your mother say you can't be in the show tonight? Come aboard the Little Moon Theatre, Rose. The little girl climbed up and sat next to Nicolette. I wish my mother wouldn't mind my socks, she whispered. That night the play was called The Wise Prince. Jojo plucked her guitar and told this story. Once long ago, a prince had to choose between two beautiful maidens. One would be the queen. He gave them each two tests, one in dancing and one in singing. The music began and the first maiden did a toe dance with long leaps and difficult twirls. The second maiden decided to do something different. So she took a silken cord from the castle curtain and jumped rope with it fast and fancy. Then it was time to sing. The first maiden went to the centre of the stage and sang a beautiful old song with many verses. It began, I dreamed that I dwelt in marble halls with vassals and serfs at my side. The second maiden decided to do something different, so she sang, "Three little nincompoops sitting in a tree, their names were Do, Re, Mi. Do and Re fell out the tree, so who was left?" "Oh, I know that," cried the first maiden. "It's me." Then Jojo sang, "The prince chose Rose. He liked her socks, you see. He knew that it was special to do things differently. The prince chose Rose, he kissed her hand and said he'd wear his socks the way she did, one yellow and one red." The play was over, the actors bowed while the audience applauded and tossed flowers to the stage for Rose. She gazed into the crowd of faces and saw her mother smiling proudly. Soon the villagers went home and feeling sleepy and contented. Rose and her mother walked hand in hand. When the costumes had been put away, the scenery rolled up and the coins counted, Jojo, Jip and Nicolette settled down to a late supper. Jojo dished out big plates of simmering stew. Suddenly, something fell out of the sky and splashed into the river. Jip swam out quickly and brought a little shivering bundle back to the shore. It was a tiny old woman, an old fairy godmother. Her wings were weak with weariness. "I've one wish left in my old magic wand," and she whispered, "and when it's granted, I can rest." "Who will have the last wish?" asked Jojo. It's for a child I cannot find. She wears one yellow sock and one red sock, and wishes that her mother wouldn't mind." "Oh, madame," said Jojo, "the little moon travelling theatre made her wish come true, so you still have one wish left to do." The little old woman shivered more than ever. They warmed her and fed her and put her to bed. In the morning she flew off once more, and the troupe packed up to go to another village and another show. On a day in midsummer, the little moon travelling theatre, journeying through green valleys and hills, found a little boy sitting all alone. On a bridge, he held something in his arms. "I'm here all alone," he said, "because people are afraid of my snake. I wish they could see how beautiful he is and how good." Jojo invited him aboard, and they all rode into the next village. That night the play was called "The Hero of the Jungle." The curtains parted. Jip and Nicolette appeared wearing strange animal masks. Night had fallen in the jungle, and Jojo sang this song. "'Twas the night of the animal fair. The birds and the beasts would be there. The old baboon by the light of the moon was combing his auburn hair. But the jungle was full of dread, for the crocodile, it was said, was eating great feasts of the smallest of beasts. Imagine the tears that were shed. You could hear the crocodile roar as she searched in her dresser drawer. I'll look like a fool if I don't have a jewel to dress up my pinafore." Now a handsome young snake, he strayed to the crocodile place, unafraid. "Please let me bedeck your magnificent neck. like a necklace of lapis and jade. The birds and the beasts that night cheered the snake with all their might, for the crocodile swore she'd eat beasties no more if her necklace would stop squeezing so tight. I love this picture. When the play was over, the snake was truly a hero. The boy walked home and the snake with the snake on his shoulder, while the villagers followed, admiring its goodness and beauty. Later that night, as Jojo, Jip and Nicolette worked and listened to the song of the summer crickets, they heard another sad little sound. Nicolette dashed up a tree and found the little old fairy found the little old god fairy dangling from a branch by her pocketbook strap. As Nicolette carried her gently down, the tiny woman whispered, "My worn old wings are so weary, but I've one last wish in my old magic wand, and when it is granted, I can rest." "Who will have the last wish?" asked Jojo. "I look for a boy before my fall, who wished that folks liked his snake, that's all." "Oh, madame," said Jojo, "tonight we made that wish come true, so you still have one wish left to do." The tiny old woman was warmed, fed, and put to bed. In the morning she flew off once more, and the troop packed up to go to another village and another show. On an evening in autumn, the little moon travelling theatre, journeying through a landscape of red and gold, saw a hound dog on top of a hill, howling sadly. "My heart is breaking," he told them. "I can't do my work, which is chasing raccoon. All I can do is wish for the moon." So they took him on board, and as they rode together into the next village, the great pink sun disappeared. The play that night was called "The Dog Who Loved the Moon." This was the dog's song. "Can I win the moon with a rapturous tune, if I howl and I croon like a loon to the moon? Will she come to me soon? If I sweep and I swoon, will she hear me, the moon?" This was the moon's song. "Oh, little earth dog, dear loving clown, I'm not made of silver or pearl or marble or ice or anything nice, and I'll never, no never come down. But I have little sisters, don't weep, tiny copies of me everywhere. They're not way up high in the star-dappled sky, so take this one to love and to keep." Nicolette gave him the little moon from the roof of the caravan. When the play was over, Jojo, Jip, and Nicolette watched as the hound hurried home, holding his moon tenderly in his teeth. The night was chilly, and when a great gust of wind blew by, it carried the fairy godmother helpless over their heads. Jojo ran and jumped and pulled her down. They took the little old woman into the caravan behind the stage and the painted scenery. It was warm there and supper was cooking. "Oh, my worn old wings are so weary," cried the tiny woman, "but I've one last wish in my old magic wand, and when it is granted, I can rest." "Who will have the last wish?" asked Jojo. "I look for a dog who wishes for the moon, but my poor old wings gave out too soon." "Oh, madame," said Jojo, Tonight we made that wish come true, so you still have one wish left to do." The old woman was warmed, fed, and put to bed. In the morning she flew off once more, and the troop packed up to go to another village and another show. I love this little old one. The magic fairy godmother. She's so cute. This one's cold. And then it was winter. Jojo played her violin, her fingers stiff with cold. Snowflakes fell on Jip and Nicolette as they danced, watched only by a family of white wolves and an old snowy owl. "How I wish we could be warm," whispered Jojo. Later that night they heard a strange noise, and they rushed out to see what it was. The tiny fairy godmother had just fallen from the sky into the deep snow. As they lifted her out, she cried, "At last!" She raised her magic wand. What do you think? Which wish do you think she's answering? And it was warm. "This is warm sand between my toes," said Jojo, "and warm sun upon my nose." Nicolette and Jip lifted their heads. They smelled jacaranada and ylang ylang flowers in the soft warm breeze. "No freezing winds, no winter snow. How did we get here, do you suppose?" asked Jojo. And the little old fairy godmother, in her old striped bathing suit, dipped and dunked her tiny body in the aquamarine sea and smiled. I love this little lady here. She really reminds me of my grandma. Hope you enjoyed that. I really love the pictures. I wish you could see them more because they're so beautifully painted. But hopefully listening to this will help to inspire you to get a copy of it because it's beautiful. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Lots of love.